Now, the last week, of course, we discussed two approaches to theory of consumer behavior. One is the cardinal approach, the other one is ordinal approach. Cardinal approach assumes the consumer can express quantitatively his utility level. He can measure, utility can be measured, satisfaction level can be measured. Based on that assumption, the economists have developed the theory. The other approach assumes the consumer could only rank different situations, different bundles according to his preference. Apple is preferred to bananas. We don't assume, we don't say when Apple consume one apple give 10 utils, one banana gives 5 utils. No. He says apple is preferred to banana. That's all. So that indicates the utility level. You are getting more the utility satisfaction when consuming apple than bananas. That is the meaning. Ranking. The other approach, quantify. Based on that, the ordinal approach also you can develop the theory. We have indifference curve, we have the budget line, then tangency point indicates the utility maximizing point. Utility maximizing combination of X and Y. But the thing is, both approaches converges. At the utility maximizing point, same condition has to be satisfied. So the utility maximization is the must. Consumer in a free enterprise economy system always try to maximize the utility subject to budget. Consumer is a price taker. Consumer cannot change price of X and price of Y, prices of the goods and services. It's a price taker. His income is limited. Now that is, his budget is fixed. So consumer's objective is to maximize utility subject to budget. Very nice model, very interesting model. We all are doing. When you buy things, you all are doing that. If you want to buy a shirt, what do? You go to the shop, say, according to your utility, preference, taste, you check several shirts, stripes, non-stripe, colored, black color, blue color, like that. You get. Then you think about the prices, ask. 1,200, 1,300, 3,000, the 950. Then always intuitively you calculate your budget. Okay, now this is the most reasonable budget, 1,200 or 950. I'll buy this color, the shirt, short sleeve or long sleeves. Then that's the way we buy things. Same thing, same behavior, same explanation in the theory of consumer behavior in the economics. Get the maximum utility subject to budget. So that of course, that I emphasize this repeatedly, because the economics is not a different alien things. It is the normal behavior of a consumer in a market economy. Right? Okay. Now the last point. Application. Assumptions. You have the model. Be the utility maximizing point. Now you go to these are the 4 applications of this. The last one I am not going to prove that, but generally we can. What is better, cash income or income in kind? Last week we concluded that cash income is better than income in kind. You give 10 kilograms of rice to a poor family. You give 5,000 rupees to the same poor family. What is better? Which the choice that poor family prefer? Definitely, the family will go for this cash income, not the 10 kilograms of rice. By that, where the cash income enhances, increases his independence, family independence, consumers independence, sovereignty. You can do whatever you like. You buy 2 kilograms of rice and you buy a phone card, 5 phone cards, and then the 5 the gold leaf cigarettes, like that. It's up to you. Income in kind, you restrict. You have to buy 10 we are going to give you 10 kilograms of rice. But after that, people might resell, sell that to the black market prices below the market price, then get that money and they spend that. Right? That is different. Now, for example, most of these the condominiums flats given to the poor people. Now, Sahasurat, they are given these. The government has spent billions of rupees, and then you allocate these to poor families. But after some time, they come back to the payment and start begging or whatever the informal sector activity they are doing. What do they do? Most of the cases, they rented out that house. They are getting some money. So they are in need of money. Monthly, they are getting 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees. So you spend those money. At the same time, you are living on the payment. That is the income in kind. Flat is the income in kind. You need money, right? So the cash income is better than income in kind. Cash income is better than income in kind. Now this one, first one, price consumption curve, PCC, income consumption curve, ICC, derive demand curve for a good. Now first I will derive price consumption curve using our basic model. What is the model? Indifference curve, budget line. Indifference curve, budget line. Using that, we will derive the price consumption curve. Right. We'll go to the board. I want you to take down, of course, you can see the board, no problem. But better if you can take down that also, right? Okay. You all can see the board now. Right. Good X, good Y. Too good economy. We assume this model has been built for a too good economy, but you can generalize, no problem. Right? It's easy. Now this is the budget line. Budget line. Right? Budget line. What is the equation? Pxx plus Pyy equals I. Budget line. You have 1,000 rupees. You allocate these 1,000 rupees only to buy good X and good Y. Completely allocate. No savings, no borrowings. Allocate this to buy. Expenditure on X, Px into X. Expenditure on Y, Py into Y. Total expenditure is sum of these two equals income. You spend entire income. Right? At this point, if you spend all your income only to buy good X, or your income only to buy good X, how many units can be X? All your income to buy X, you can buy I over Px. You have 1,000 rupees. Price of rice, kilogram of rice is 100. 1,000 rupees, 100. If you spend this 100 rupees, all 100,000 rupees to buy rice, how many kilograms can be purchased? 1,000 divided by 100, 10. That is I divided by Px. That is the X coordinate. At this point, no Y, X this one. At this point, you spend all your income to buy the other good Y. For example, let's say a toffee. The pack of toffee, 20 rupees. If you spend 1,000 rupee to buy 20 rupee, all the toffees, how many packs can be purchased? 1,000 divided by 20. 50. I divided by Py. That is the budget line. Along this budget line, all these combinations, you have to spend, by any of these combinations, you have to spend all your income. This combination cannot be achieved. This combination XY can be achieved, but you can save some money inside. On entire budget is utilized. Outside you cannot buy. This is also called feasible set. Feasible set. Inside. Feasible set. Now let's assume what will happen. Price of Y is constant, 20 rupees. Price of X decreases. 100, 90, 80, 70 like that. Price decreases. What will happen to the budget line? This point, Y point is same Y. But this point, price of X decreases. I over PX, I over 100, I over 90, I over 80, I over 70, like that. This budget line pivot. This line rotates around this point. What will happen to budget line? Budget line like that. I over PX1, I over PX2. If this PX is 100, this is 90, this is 80. Income is same income, 1000. Budget line rotates. Budget line rotates around this point when income constant income. I put brackets. PY constant, PX decreases. Income 1000, PY 20, PX decreases 100 to 90. What's on the budget line? Budget line rotates. Budget line rotates. Budget line rotates. Now what will happen? Now consumer's feasible set expands. Now he can afford these bundles also. When price decreases, your feasible set expands. Now consumer can utility maximizing point shift. Initially he was here. Now he can attain to another point. Higher point, higher utility. Higher utility, maybe utility 100, 100, 200, 300. What will happen when price decreases? Consumer can attain higher and higher utility. Indifference curve increases, higher and higher utility. Higher and optimal point, utility maximizing combination changes, increases. Earlier, this shows the utility maximum. Now, more X and Y, more X and Y. Then what? By joining these points, we get price consumption curve. PCC, by joining this new optimal point, utility maximizing point, we get the price consumption curve. Price consumption curve. That is price consumption curve. Okay. Then income, this is called price consumption curve. Income consumption curve. Income consumption curve, you change prices constant. Income increases 1000, 1500, 1700. Income constant, price constant. Price of Y is 20, price of X 100. Same. But income increases. Then what will happen? Both points shift. Both points shift. Parallel. What is the budget line? Right? Income consumption curve. I will draw the income consumption curve. And this case, income consumption curve. Now in this case, our budget line, PXX, same budget line. Income, PX constant. PY constant. Income increases. Now what will happen to the budget line? Budget line, very interesting. Budget line, what will happen? PX, good X, good Y. Initial budget line, I over PX, 1000 over 100. I over PY, 1000 over 20. If you spend all your income only to buy rice, 1000 over 100. This coordinate. If you spend all your income to buy the pack of the toffees, I over PY 20. Now, Px, Py constant, both constant, income increases. Then what will happen? Budget line shift, parallel shift. Like that. I1 over Px, I2 over Px. Here I1 over Py, I2 over Py, I2 greater than I1 greater than I. Income increases 1000, 1500, 1200, 700. 1000, 1500, 1700. Budget line shift, upward shift in the budget line. Prices constant, income increases. Budget line shift. Again, feasible set, expand. Affordable set of affordable bundles expand. Now, again, consumer can check high indifference curve. Utility maximizing point initially, when income is I. Utility maximizing point, income I1, higher income, shift. You can buy more. Other point, utility maximizing point, you can buy more. Budget line, when income increases, budget line parallel shift, upward shift in the budget line. Then by joining these points we get ICC, income consumption curve. Income consumption curve. PCC, ICC. In the case of ICC, income changes. In the case of PCC, how do you have a PCC? One of the prices changes, either increase or decrease. If it decrease, budget line pivots. ICC is the budget line shift in the budget line, right? Now this we'll discuss the third concept. Third concept is the total effect, income effect, substitution effect. Income effect, substitution effect. Now, before I move to that lesson, I will ask a question. Wait a minute. Right. Deriving the demand curve for a good. Now, what is demand curve? Now, this model can be used to derive the demand curve. Demand for good X. Relationship between price and quantity demanded of good. Price and quantity demanded of good X. Relationship between. That is the demand curve. But the indifference curve model, you have the x-axis quantity X, y-axis quantity Y, indifference curve. So the indifference curve framework to budget line, you can derive. We'll go to that point. We'll derive the demand curve. Deriving the demand curve. Well, this lesson is little bit the mathematical. But it is not economics, but you can understand the economic concept using mathematics. But here we use a little bit of mathematics, right? Mathematical knowledge is important, right? Slightly. Now the derived demand curve, I am going to draw two diagrams. Indifference curve diagram up, demand curve down. I'll draw that. Now, there is a indifference curve framework, X, Y. This demand curve down, X and PX. This axis PX. Remember, demand curve is PX versus X. Indifference curve, quantities XY. Initially, Well, you derive the demand curve using you project. Diagram on the top to diagram on the left, right? So the first diagram is here, first indifference curve. First, you assume this is the utility maximizing point. At the utility maximizing point, we assume our budget line is what? Px x plus Py y equals I. Price of x is Px. Combine x, how many x units of x consumer consumes? Consumer can consumes this much. X, let's say x1 unit. X1, you project this down. X1. Price of x, Px. This is 1 point on the demand curve. How do you derive utility? At the utility maximizing point, he consumes x1. You come to this point, x1. What is the price of x? Px. This is 1 point on the demand curve. Other things constant, income constant, Py constant, utility constant, right? Now we will assume price of x decreases. Other factors constant. Py, income, pays constant, price of x decreases. What will happen to the budget line? We know budget line rotates. Px decreases to, let's say, Px1. Px1 is here. Px1 decreases. Px1 is here. Px decreases. New budget line, Px1x plus Py, same, equals I. Py, I constant. Now what will happen? Consumer can attain high indifference curve. High indifference curve. High indifference curve. High indifference. This is a new point. Initially E1. Why is that? His income same. Initial IA over Px. Now IA over Px1. Px1 decreases. Px to Px1. Income constant. New at the new optimal point, this point, what is the consumption of x? Consumption of x is this. Right? Let's say x2, consumption x2 at this point. What is price? Price is Px1. This is the combination of Px and price and quantity consumption when price of x decreases. Other factors constant. Now join these points. What is this? Demand curve for good x, DD. This is the demand curve for good x. Demand curve for good x. Demand curve for good x. Interesting, no? Indifference curve to demand curve. Along this demand curve, what is fixed or what are fixed? Income fixed. Price of y fixed. Consumer utility, same indifference curve, same utility function, utility fixed, taste constant. Other factors are held constant. What is the changing factor? In price, on the price of x decrease. When other factors are held constant, we said there is a downward sloping demand curve. Demand curve, there's a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. So that is very interesting. Our theory is meaningless if you cannot illustrate some of important concept. But here it is not meaningless. Why is that? Theory is there. Indifference curve, budget line. Framework is there. We said, okay, this is the application. You can derive the demand curve. That's why this theory is important. Theory is live. Okay. Demand curve. Deriving the demand curve. Price consumption curve, income consumption curve, then deriving the demand curve for a good X. Deriving the demand curve for a good X. Okay? The demand curve, deriving demand curve. Right? Understand? Any questions about this deriving demand curve? Cannot see the top of the board. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will. Now you can see. Deriving the demand curve. Y, X. Px, X. That's the demand curve. Okay. Now, next one. So we discussed three things. Last one is very important. Disaggregation of total effect into two components. Before we disaggregate using our framework, I will ask the few questions. Okay. Now we know when other factors are held constant, there is a negative relationship between price of a good and quantity demand. Negatively sloped demand. I am asking in that case, when price decreases, quantity demanded increases of that good. Price of the good decreases, quantity demanded increases. That is the demand curve. Price of a good X decreases, quantity demanded of that good increases. That is the normal behavior of a consumer when other factors are held constant. Now I am asking, why do people increase quantity demanded when price decreases? Why do people increase? Why do people increase the quantity demanded of a good? Why do people willing to buy more of a good when price decreases? Why do people, understand my question, why do people willing to buy more of the good or service when price decreases?
More income.
Why is that? Can you answer me? Why do people willing to buy more? Willing to buy, not actually bought, they are willing to buy. And car prices are falling. I want to buy a car. Gold prices, jewelry prices are falling. I am thinking of buying one more necklace, right? Earrings, right? That is the thing. That's like that. People think of increasing the demand on when the price decreases. Why? What is the reason? Please answer my question. Understand the question? Why? What is the rationale? Why do people willing to buy more of the good when price decreases? Yes, tell me.
More
Why is that?
income.
Yeah.
More income.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
More income.
More income. You have a point. You have a point. What do you mean by more income? Yeah,
That
you have a
is
point. Sorry?
Capacity of income increases.
Capacity. Yeah, that's a very good term. In economy, we call it real income. Murtadayam. Real income increases when price decreases. What does that mean? Real income increases. For example, let's say 1,000 rupees your income. The kilogram of rice, 100. Then how many kilograms can be purchased? 10. Finish. Right? Now let's assume price of X decreases. Price of rice decreases to 50. 100 to 50. Income 1000. Now how many kilograms can be purchased? 1000 divided by 50. 20. 20. Same nominal income, 1000. But the real income, real purchasing power has increased 10 to 20. That's why you are right. That is called the real income. Real income increases. Purchasing power increases. Then people can increase. When price of a good decreases, people want to buy, willing to buy more because their real income increases. Therefore, they increase the demand. That is one effect, of course. That is called income effect. The change in demand due to change in real income is called income effect. So total effect, this is one of the important components. Due to increase in real income, you can buy more. That is purely income effect. Now we go to substitution effect. Substitution effect is what? Now earlier what happened? Price of pack of the toffee is 20, price 100. 100. Now what will happen? Relative to the toffees, the price is 5. 100 divided by 20, 5 times. 5 times the price of toffee. Now what will happen? Price drop to 50. Now relative to toffee, 50 divided by 20, 2 point something. Earlier 5. Relative price, 100 divided by 20, 5. Relative price. Then relative price, what has happened? 50 divided by 20, 2.5. Relative to toffees, now price is cheaper, 5 to 2.5. I am explaining substitution effect. Relative to price has dropped. When price of rice decreases from 100 to 50, what will happen? Relative to toffees, now rice is cheaper. Now what do the consumer do? They substitute rice for toffee. They substitute rice for toffees. Why is that? Because the relative to toffees, now rice is cheaper. Then in their consumption basket, they substitute rice for toffees. Because relative to toffee, now price is cheaper. This is the second component. That is called substitution effect. Income effect is due to change in real income, purchasing power. You are richer than earlier when price decreases. You increase the demand. Income effect. Substitution effect, relative to the other prices, relative price has changed, dropped. Therefore, you increase the demand. So therefore, total effect, total change in demand, we can break into 2 effects. How much due to the increase in change in real income? How much due to the change in relative prices? Understand? That's another important application of that. Another important application, because when price decreases, consumers are willing to buy more. Now I am asking the same question. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Now you can answer. It is because of the income effect and substitution effect. Because when price decreases, people are richer than earlier. Therefore, they increase the demand, income effect. When price of a good decreases, relative price dropped. Therefore, they substitute good X for good Y, substitution effect. Now we have good answer. You don't say simply it is because of the law of demand. Because the people increase, the willingness increases because of the income effect and the substitution effect. When relative price decreases, they increase the demand, they substitute X for Y, substitution effect. When price decreases, you are richer, purchasing power increases, real income increases, then you increase the demand. Understand? Without drawing anything, you should be able to explain, but in words, what is income effect and substitution effect. In my note, I think I have given, first note, I think I have given the income effect and substitution. Please check that. Please check that very first note. I have explained the income effect substitution effect. So now we don't say it is because of the law of demand, because it is because of the income effect and substitution effect. Right? Now this total effect can be disaggregated into two. Illustrate how much the total effect, what is the income effect, what is the substitution effect. We can disaggregate. Disaggregation, of course, there are two frameworks, methods have been proposed. One is Hicks disaggregation. Hicks disaggregation. Professor Hicks, I think he was working in University of Oxford or LSE. Professor, the Nobel laureate professor, he proposed one approach to disaggregate, divide the total effect into two: income effect, substitution. Another approach is Slutsky, Russian economist. Then later he settled down in US. Then I think he was also Nobel laureate, right? The substitution, the Slutsky, Professor Slutsky's disaggregation. Here the approaches different, but in this case we are going to disaggregate graphically. We disaggregate into two effects using the Hicks approach. Hicks disaggregation of total effects into income effect. Actually, if you can understand at this level, what is income effect, what is substitution effect, how to illustrate, disaggregate this, illustrate these two effects using Hicks approach. Hicks approach. Actually, there are differences. The Hicks approach and the approaches different. Substitution effect, these techniques are different. We are not going to discuss nitty-gritty of these approaches at a higher level. If you do a degree, University of London degree, or the any other degree, maybe at the university level, you may have discuss these differences in Hicks and the Slutsky's approaches, right? But now I am going to graphically, I'll draw the diagram to disaggregate the total effect into income and substitution effect. Income and substitution effect. Right. Income and substitution. First, our framework same: indifference curve, budget line, tangency point. First, you draw that one. Budget line. Right. When price of X decreases, PY constant, income constant, what will happen? The budget line rotates around this point. Now what will happen? Consumer can attain to a higher indifference curve. Feasible set expands. Feasible set now expands. Now these points also you can buy. Now you attain this. Initial point is this. X naught. Initial consumption X naught. Now price decreases, he can attain to a high indifference curve. Yeah, high indifference curve maybe somewhere here. Now what will happen? E to E1. Consumer attain high indifference curve. You are getting more utility when price decreases. You can attain high utility. These bundles gives him 100, maybe 200 utilities combination. You can attain to a high indifference curve. Total effect is this. This is the total effect. Total effect is this. X0 to X1. Total effect. Consumer increase the consumption of X by 5 points, 5 kilograms. Now in these exercises, we are going to derive that out of these 5, how much due to income effect. Let's say it is 3 kilograms is due to the increase in real income, purchasing power. Then balance 2 is due to the change in, drop in relative prices. That kind of answer. This is 5. Now we want to ask how much due to income effect, how much due to substitution effect. Disaggregation of total effect into its component. Right? Now this, remember the disaggregation, we are doing the Hicks disaggregation. Professor Hicks. Professor Hicks suggested a method. I think mechanically I will propose that to disaggregate. We bring the final. This is the final, but this is the initial budget line of B1. This is B2, final budget line. We bring the final budget line down parallel to itself, and it will tangent to the initial indifference curve, initial budget line, initial indifference curve. This is the initial indifference curve, U0. U1. This is U0. U1. In this disaggregation, we'll bring the final budget line down until it tangent to the initial indifference curve. Right? You bring this budget line. This is the final budget line down. And it tangent to the initial indifference curve. Initial indifference curve is here. No? This is the intermediary level budget line, B3, hypothetical budget line, imaginary budget line. B1 initial budget line, B2 final budget line when price decreases. Now in the Hicks disaggregation, we bring the final budget line down until it tangent to the initial indifference curve, E dash, E3, E2. At this point, consumption is this one. Let's say X2, XH. Now we say X0 to XH is substitution effect, SC. XH to X1 is income effect. X0 to X1, total effect. X0 to X1, total effect. Total change is X1 minus X0. Total effect. Substitution effect. XH minus X0. Then income effect. X1 minus XH. Now you can see if you add these two, you get this xh cancel out, x1 minus x0. So therefore, total effect, it's a total effect. Total effect equals substitution effect, income effect plus substitution effect. Right? This graphically, this is how we disaggregate. We assume x is a normal good. X is no, x can be inferior, x can be given. Then disaggregation is bit different. Income and substitution effect, magnitude different. Some goods, income effect dominate the substitution effect. If x is the inferior good, substitution effect higher than the income effect when x is a given good, something like that. So now this is a normal good, SCIE, total effect. Now otherwise it could be negative some other goods. If x is an inferior good, substitution effect dominate income effect. Like that, we have different cases. But at this level, we assume only the x is a normal good. Normal good, Hicks disaggregation. Hicks disaggregation. Right? Now we know the more importantly, now this is mathematics. This is the graphs, graphical graphs. I just want to know you to understand what is income effect, what is substitution. Income effect is what? Change in demand, change in consumption due to the change in consumers' real income, purchasing power. Nominal income same, 1,000. Price of rice decreases 100 to 50. Then your number of kilograms increases 10 to 20, doubles. That is called purchasing power increases. Real income is measured in terms of quantity consumption, 100 to 20. When price decreases, price decreases, your real income, same 1,000 rupee. Real income of the 1,000 rupee has increased from 10 to 20. Right? Suppose the individual income is, let's say, income is the 25,000. If this lady spent all his income to buy saris, if sari price is 5,000, then 25,000 divided by 5,000 is the 5. 5 saris can be purchased. Right? Then same nominal income, 25,000. Rice was the sari price, half. 5,000 to 2,500. What will happen? Now she can buy 10 saris. Real income is measured in terms of the quantities, number of saris, kilograms. Purchasing power is measured. Your purchasing power increased. In the case of rice, 10 to 20. In the case of saris, 5 to 10. Understand? Understand? That is the income effect. Substitution effect is a bit different, but substitution effect is when price decreases relative to the other goods. Now this particular good is cheaper. Excuse me. The substitution effect is different. When compared to other goods, if the price of this good decreases, then this good is cheaper relative to other goods. Then you increase the quantity consumption. Relative price decreased. Relative price decreased. As a result, you increase the demand. Substitution, you substitute rice for toffees. Rice for toffees, why is that? Not your increase in real income, because the relative price has dropped. Then you increase the demand for rice. Substitution. I want you to explain, understand the economic concept clearly. Then disaggregation, Hicks disaggregation. So we are not going to discuss the Slutsky's disaggregation. There is an equation called Slutsky equation. We are not going to discuss that. Again, we are not going to discuss the other cases. Now here we assume X is normal good. X can be an inferior good, or X can be a given good. Now these goods, disaggregation same, but magnitude of the income and substitution effect different, directions different. If you go through one of the textbooks, Mr. Karunatilaka I gave reference textbooks. No, most of the reference textbooks, they have the other disaggregation of total effects into its component for a given good, for an inferior good, right? So you can understand that. Then the last point: what is better, income effect or the cash income, or the income in kind? Cash benefit is better than the income in kind. It's very simple reason, because cash income enhances consumers' independence. Any policy that increases, enhance the consumer sovereignty freedom is the best policy. That is a simple economic theory. Subsidies are not good. Income is better. You can do whatever you like. Consumer sovereignty, your independent, your decision making enhances. Therefore, you prefer that policy. So these are the five effects. Yes, the five effects: PCC, ICC, deriving the demand curve, disaggregation, then the cash income versus income in kind. Okay.